I'm live! Yay, I'm alive! Oh, it's funny. I'll take off my glasses now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. Another one of my video blogs. I like to do more of these. And today's discussion is Petro Dollars. Petro Dollars. I was, just excuse me 1 minute. I'm going to grab me a little sip here. Apologize about that. It's not coffee. I don't drink coffee. I drink chocolate, hot chocolate. Good. And that's hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate, and so I just had a little bit of that so I can speak a little better. Anyway, about petrodollars today is what we're talking about, and I want to explain a little things to you because the thought and thing going around right now is how countries are going to get rid of the petrodollar, and China's trying to get away from the petrodollar and is not going to accept the petrodollar anymore, and Russia's doing the same thing, and how other countries are getting rid of the petrodollar in their country and all this stuff. Now, and I know a little bit about international trading. And it's where you buy goods and you ship them to other countries. Back in the day when I was younger, I wanted to do international trade, but I didn't know how to do it. And I met some people that do or did international trade, and they were telling me about it. Anyway, so I went to the library one day and I looked up, companies in China, and I had a list, and they had their addresses there in English, and of course they had it in Chinese too, but in English. And I wrote, "Dear sir, let me know about what kind of products you sell. I'm interested, blah 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 blah." I mailed off a letter to them, and that company sent me a catalog of what they had for sale. And this one guy sent me a catalog for shirts, for button-down shirts, because they were United States. A good button-down shirt, I think back then, was $40, which was a lot of money back, for me, And but these guys tailor-made a shirt for me, okay, and they sent me a little thing, a little piece of wood. I think it was not wood though. I think it was wood-like stuff, but backing. I think it was. What do you call that stuff over there? I can't even think. I'll remember in a minute. But anyways, it was kind of a wood backing type stuff. But anyways, and then they had all these little pieces of fabric on there, and then they had pieces of silk on there, little square pieces of it, and then I had collars drawn. It was drawn on there what type of collar I wanted for my shirt, button down, non-button down, all this kind of stuff. And then you had to measure yourself and write in all the measurements for your waist and everything. And then you fill out this little form with all those measurements, with all that stuff on there. And they had, each little block had, do you want cotton, 100% cotton? How thick do you want the cotton to be? There's different thicknesses of cotton, and you just wrote down the number 1000, whatever it was for the cotton, and then you put the money in there, cash. They only wanted cash or a money order, and that was it. And then you put that in the envelope, mail it off, and about a few months later, your shirt would show up. Not kidding. And so, but the thing is that they got U.S. cash sent to them. They got a money order from the United States, and so it was. But when they cash that money order, they're getting United States cash, and that's how it works worldwide. So there's all these companies in Mexico, down South America, all over the place, that accept United States money, cash, and it's not the government. It's literally the individual companies that do this, small ones, and there's a lot of small companies. And then I got other offers for all kinds of stuff, you name it, and they would ship it. Uh, uh, Sometimes they would ship it UPS, FedEx, I think, to me, and not UPS, FedEx mostly. Sorry, I just don't know why I said UPS, but FedEx to me, or they ship it on a Chinese ship, which would take 6 months to get to me, and then from there the ship would dock, and then it would go out UPS or FedEx from there. Definitely go UPS at that point. And so then it would ship to my door, and I'd get it, and I have like this cool little Chinese jewelry box. I say, oh, this is cool. And if you order thousands of them or something like that, you get a price break to where they were maybe affordable enough to sell, because you go to the store and see them something like it or exactly like it in a store, and then you see that they're super cheap in the store, and you go, I paid 15 for that, and it was in the store for $2, and you'd be like, well, I need to bring the cost way down, and they could do it. They would sell to you for way lower, lower the cost, and in the store they would, you could get it down below the $2 in the store, but you had to buy 20,000 of them or some big huge number, and then you could get them cheap enough and go. You could probably go to the store and say, hey, I can sell you those for $1 a piece, and they go, oh, okay. I buy them for 50 cents a piece, see, and through my distributor. Probably was the same when they were getting them from themselves, But anyways, but you'd have to buy a higher amount than they're buying in order to get that deal done like that. So that's kind of how it works out there. Is that you're getting, so the Petro Dollars not going to go away because they don't want to miss out on that sale, and so all the small Chinese companies, if China said, okay, you can't accept U.S. dollars anymore, at all, period, that isn't going to happen. What's the Chinese government going to go to every business that they have there that's independent of China, independent, and say you can't accept U.S. dollars for the products? They're nuts. It ain't gonna happen. They can't stop that at all. And those people are gonna accept U.S. dollars because they've been doing it for eons. They've been doing it for years and years and years and years. And there's no way that they're not gonna continue to accept U.S. dollars for that stuff because they like my money. They want to sell me a shirt. They're gonna do it. Unless the U.S. dollar somehow became worthless, I guess, then it might be something different. But it's what makes the backbone of China go, and that's why in my other video I had saying that's what props up the Chinese money, is all those little companies and all those, and some bigger ones, all those companies buy for the United, or me and many other people buy stuff from China, okay, and it's so fast, it's unbelievable with U.S. currency, and even the big multi-million-dollar companies buy stuff from them too, right? And they pay cash, U.S. cash. So they have all this U.S. cash, and then they use that money to buy stuff for themselves too, as well, through the United States, okay? Because the United States buys so much product worldwide that it's advantageous to buy from the United States. And then why is that? Well, the United States buys steel, for example. Well, our own steel. We don't buy a lot of steel outside the United States, but we make a lot of steel. So we have tons and tons and tons of steel. Chinese need steel big time. They make their own, but there's a lot of steel the United States makes. So they might want to buy some specialized steel from the United States, so they buy some. Okay, so that's something China can use that money for. Rice is a big one. Rice is huge. China needs to buy extra rice every year, and that costs a lot of money, and so they buy it. And I've literally seen the Chinese ship come into Sacramento there and load up for rice. I've seen Russian ships come in there and load up full of different stuff as well. So they take that money that they made, the Chinese government, if it's I guess we got to differentiate here. There's the Chinese government that owns some of the bigger corporations where they hire people to work to make things and then resell to the United States. That's one entity. Then there's other entities that just buy stuff directly from people like me, just the regular public, or or it's a small company that works through another small company from the United States. So, small little company in the United States buys something from another small company in China that's not ran by the government. Okay, so there's two things going on there, and so it depends on what we're talking about. The Chinese government, let's say we'll talk about them. So they have a company that the Chinese government owns and operates, and then it sells some products to like 3Com, and then 3Com came in there, had a factory, and the Chinese government runs it and gets paid U.S. cash to run this factory, and they produce modems, computer products for 3Com. 3Com gets the modems, takes it back to the United States, and then sells them for computers. Okay, well, China got all that cash. The Chinese take the cash, U.S. dollars, and they buy rice with it, and they bring the rice back and distribute it however they do. Okay, get the picture. So there's many things going on there, and then they spend the cash. They pay cash just like me and you would for that rice, but it's the government, Chinese government, that's doing that, and the Chinese government determines the price for the modems, to sell them back, how much they're going to sell them for, and all that kind of stuff. And they can go cheap if they want to. They can sell them for whatever they want because it's the Chinese government. And so they can pay their people. Actually, sometimes products can be sold cheaper than it costs to make them if they want to. The Chinese government can do that. The people who are small companies or individual small little companies, they work on a profit basis. They're not going to do that. So when I buy my shirt from this guy, he's going to look at his rent and his he says, I got to have enough to pay my land or my apartment rent to China, so I need to have X amount to make. So he's going to figure that out, how much those shirts need to be in order to do that. But they're still cheap. It's like back then, a silk shirt I think was going for about $80 in the store, a good one, and I don't know, $120 in the store, and then $80 from him, or something like that. So it wasn't a whole lot of difference there, but some silk shirts, I could get from him for $40 instead, and store was $80. It depends on the quality of the silk. There's some really rare silk that he had that really made a difference. It was really cheap, and from him too. It just depends on what it was. But you could get your shirts custom made, which would cost me a lot of money to have a custom made shirt in the United States. Just out of the question, I couldn't afford it, but I could afford to have him make them for me. And it goes on right now. You can do the same thing. You can go. I think the Chamber of Commerce has books in the library. You can go in there and look up Chamber of Commerce China, and they'll have it. But now I think you can do it online. Now you can just look up companies online through Google and find companies that make stuff and say, hey, I want you to make me something or buy something, and they'll ship it directly from China all the way to you here in America. This is not something. I think Amazon has stuff right now that do that right now, I think, on there. I'm not sure all the products, but I know there's one product I bought that was coming all the way from China to me. Isn't that amazing? So that's why. So when 3Com does that transaction and gives them that U.S. currency and China accepts it, then China has U.S. currency to spend to buy things from the U.S., or they can take that U.S. currency and buy stuff in England, okay? They can go to other countries, Africa, whatever, other countries like that might need U.S. currency as well. So let's say Africa says, hey, we'll take U.S. currency and you can buy our gold. Okay, and so then they go to Africa. Sorry, I'm moving around a lot because my leg right now is falling asleep. I have that real bad fall asleep stuff in the leg. And it drives me crazy, pins and needles. Oh my gosh, it really hurts. Anyways, it's like mega fall asleep leg pain stuff, and instead of just the mild fall asleep leg stuff. Oh my goodness. So anyway, so they go to Africa, they buy the gold, they get the gold, Africa gets the U.S. currency, Africa's happy because they need a lot of U.S. currency to buy food and other kinds of things. For them, it's a win-win, and for China, hey, they got the gold, right? So it just all depends. So getting away from the petrodollars is just kind of stupid because even U.S. citizens, if you want to get away from the U.S. petrodollar, you can go down to any international bank and buy any currency right now. You can go in there and buy any kind of currency. You can buy gold. Even though we're off the gold standard, we're technically not, because you can go and trade your U.S. dollars for gold. I mean, we're not backed by the gold system, but we can still buy gold with the U.S. dollar. So I don't know. I mean, we're not backed by it, but if they took it to where we couldn't trade dollars for gold, that would be bad. Now, that would be something I'd say, wait a minute, that's not great. But right now, you can go in and take U.S. cash and buy U.S. gold and trade it for gold right now. People do it all the time. So that's going on. So it's not. You can buy any other kind of currency with U.S. dollars too as well. By the way, so it's not going to be that easy for Russia or for China or for anybody to get away from the dollars. China says, okay, I won't accept U.S. dollars for my products anymore. And so a person like me that wanted my nice shirts made or my pants or my nice attire, and I mean, you could get golf clubs over there. You can get anything, all kinds of things that people send money over there to buy stuff directly to their house. Do it all the time. There's a huge market like that going on, and the reason why a lot of people don't know that is because if you're poor, you don't know about it. If you're rich and have a lot of money, then that's when you get in the know of all this stuff, because they market it to the rich people mostly. They let the rich people know all about it, and the rich people are the ones that get the catalogs and all this kind of stuff, because they're the ones that have the money, and that's the ones that they market it to from China. The Chinese companies market it to them, and they're the ones that get the catalogs to order this stuff. So anyways, so if they stop and said, okay, you got to send me a yuan, you got to go down the bank, and then you got to turn in the U.S. stuff to cash, to a yuan-based cash, so it's a Chinese yuan, and then you got to mail it to me. That's a big step, and a lot of people would say, forget it, I'll just buy the golf clubs here in the United States. It's just not worth it now, because it's too much of a pain, and they have to jump through all these hoops now, and suddenly their golf sales and shirt shells or whatever it is they're buying, the U.S. People are buying would go down, and pretty soon they wouldn't have any more sales or anything like that. So that's a big one. Sales would drop, and they wouldn't be selling anything. So that's kind of how it is, and that's worldwide. There's stuff in Mexico people buy through catalogs. There's things. In fact, I got a catalog for fireworks from Mexico not too long ago. I couldn't believe it. It's all in English and everything, but at the very bottom it said from Mexico, and I said, huh? And so I called the number, and I got a guy, speaking Mexican on the other end. Then he got someone for English to talk to me, but it was from Mexico for fireworks, and they said they could ship me fireworks, I guess, UPS or FedEx, I guess is what they're going to do, and they could send me fireworks from Mexico to my doorstep, and bypassing Walmart and everybody, and the prices were about the same as Walmart, and so I couldn't believe it. I was like shocked, and I didn't know you could even put them on UPS or FedEx, but anyway, that's what they're claiming. And I says, wow, that's amazing. I can send, and they were willing to take U.S. dollars. So see the point? So if China doesn't take U.S. dollars anymore, we'll buy it from Mexico. We'll buy it from another country. We'll buy it from, whatever country will take U.S. dollars, and we won't buy it from China anymore. We'll be buying it from other countries that want to sell it to us, and then China won't be as economically powerful anymore when it comes to getting money. So anyway, so that's what I was trying to say, is that's what props up the yen. The Chinese money is propped up by all these purchases underneath China, and makes their money worth more money because it's saturated behind the scenes with U.S. dollars, and so that pushes up the yen, makes it more valuable, and other people do accept the yen because they can buy more for them for now. If that rug was pulled out from underneath them, that yen would just collapse, and that would be that. See, Putin, what he's thinking, he just thinks just printing the money up and giving it to people, and that's all you got to do, and it's valuable. That's not true. The reason why the U.S. dollar is strong and so powerful and able to be print $1 trillion in U.S. dollars is because the general population of the world said they liked the dollar. That's all. It's the faith of the people wanting the dollar. That's what happened. The faith of the people of the world said, we like the dollar, we want the dollar, and that is why the dollar is so great. That is why it's so great. Because people said we like the U.S. dollar versus the other money, and that's the people of the world. So all the people in the world said we love the U.S. dollar for whatever reason, and it's whimsical, and that's that. And everybody wanted the dollar for their own reason, and not the ruble or not the Chinese yuan. And I still think it will be that way way into the future as well. And so Putin can try to de-dollarize himself all he wants, and it's not going to happen because all these small companies in Russia are selling goods and services and things to people like me or to others who can buy stuff directly from the small companies, and that props up the Russian currency. Okay, and if that were to stop tomorrow morning, they said, okay, none of our companies can do that, or we'll cut your head off, and all the companies stopped doing it, the ruble would crash, and then all that's going to happen is that I would start buying my stuff from another country. Maybe I'll start buying from let's see, not Korea, but let's see, what would be another? Yeah, maybe South Korea. We'd start buying more from them, or from Vietnam. We start buying all our stuff from Vietnam now, right? That's all we do, not China. And they'd become wealthy, and they'd have bigger buildings and everything, and I'd get all my products from there. See what I mean? And then all that U.S. dollars goes in there, and they become wealthy with big buildings and everything, and then China and them, their currency crashes. It crashes because we're not buying anything there from them anymore. Nobody is. So, and you get that's a lot of money to, that would be gone, and it'd be almost hard to put the money back in the genie bottle because nobody's there. Nobody's there to buy anything anymore, and so all the factories would shut down. All the stuff would kind of collapse, and China would find itself in big trouble. And so that's what pushes up the currency, and that's what England did to the United States. The United States in the early ages didn't have a currency, and England brought their currency there and propped up the United States for a long time until the United States managed to make its own currency, but it was propped up for a long time Now it's not propped up by anything other than property. You know, we have a lot of, United States has property, and that's what backs the United States dollar, is all the services and property, and the ships, the boats, and the airplanes, and all the tangible things that we have backs up the U.S. dollar. And so, and that's what everything's supposed to be. Nobody wants to live in Russia. That's why. That's why it doesn't work over there, because nobody wants to live there. Most people want to get out of Russia because it's cold and whatnot, and just the government they have is terrible. So everybody wants to leave and not stay there in Russia. In America, most people are begging to get into America and trying to come here. So that's the difference. And so anyway, that's all I just want to do is the petrodollar. It's not going to go away, and because of all these other smaller companies and things buying, selling stuff to people like me and to others, and then we buy our shoes and our pants and our clothing and all that stuff from them, and international trade wise, and there's thousands of people like me out there doing that, and a lot of people are just unaware of it and don't know that's going on. So, and that's what props up the currency in China, and that's the backbone of backing up their currency, which is the U.S. dollar or the British pound or whatever. And they have no problems taking those currencies at all. And China can't stop it. I mean, they can try, yes, but I don't think they can stop it because it's so widely spread. It's so widely used and spread. It's incredible. So anyways, we'll talk to you again. I just thought I'd throw that out there as what's going on with the currencies, so you understand that a little bit more. Signing off. This is Mark Belkins with Query News. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Talk to you next time.